Well, hi everyone, and here we are again, Linda and I, and first order of business is happy birthday, Linda,
Thank you. Thank you.
which I admit you had to remind me, which
That's
is not a
okay.
not
He
a good
said when
sign
your
when you're an
astrologer
astrologer.
doesn't remember.
I know. Then you really begin to wonder.
When
I
I was young, I used to love the birthday messages and stuff. Now, people are so kind, I tell you. But I really, my idea of a good time is just chillaxing, eating in my chair and watching TV.
yeah, I know.
I got my vaccine today.
Oh, you did? What's your experience of that, by the way? Because I've noticed every single shot. I had one recently, and I always go through about 12 hours where I don't feel great. It has to get through me.
You mean the vaccine for the COVID?
Yeah, yeah, the vaccine for
I've
the COVID.
never had, but my kids get real sick. In fact, I don't bug them to get revaccinated. They really get sick. Jacob has terrible chest pains. And I
Yeah.
said, that's it. Just forget about it. Just keep a mask on. Stay away.
I mean, it's become more subtle. I remember the first, the second time, and then the first shot. They were much more pronounced. Now it's a lot more subtle, but it's still that sense that
How
something
long
weird.
after? How long after the?
Well, it was mine was in the afternoon on Friday around 2 p.m. I didn't notice anything Friday until I went to sleep. I was fine. It's when I woke up
A
in the
little bit.
morning from about 8 to about 8 in the morning till 6 p.m. I felt strange and out of sorts, and
Yeah.
like something was trying to work itself out, and then finally I felt
So
better.
it's 1:20 right now, and I got my injection at 9 a.m. this morning. So
Mm.
we'll see how I feel. Tomorrow we just signed up with Sean to do a little post debate. He'll take a look at the polls. And we're doing that at what time? But it's not going to be live, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah, it'll be around this time, roughly, the same
Yeah,
time
probably
range.
12 noon Pacific. And
So what's
Andre gets them out like that. We don't mess.
yeah, yeah, right, speedy. So what's your sense? What is your
Well,
feeling?
two things, and I've told it on a little show that I did that just coming up now. There's two things, two hits I got from my guides. And when I get those hits, they tend to be true. Although I think I was pushing that Biden was going to be good. And remember, you looked and there was some aspect there that you were like, So, but I will say, first of all, they're saying that Trump is going back up in the polls. Nonsense, not going to happen. That's what I was told. I was told that insiders that really want him to look good, they're going to act like it's a close call, but it's going to be very shocking to everyone what a not close call it is. Maybe in like Arkansas or something, but anyway. And then they also told me, as far as the debate, I got a couple of hits. I see her really grounding herself and being very firm. I see the commentators or the people that are interviewing almost have to shut him down or tell him to knock it off. And then he almost gets that you're very rude, people. Do you know how he does? I see her. She's bringing a couple of people that were in his administration to be there.
Really?
That
But
was
there's
in
no.
Trump's administration. Yeah, you can have guests, and she's bringing a couple of Trumpers,
Oh, okay.
former Trumpers, to be there. I hope one of them is Pence.
I hope the other two are Liz and her father.
Or, even the women that he has. Remember, he pulled out with Hillary.
With Bill and Hillary. Yeah, no, for sure, for sure.
So
Yeah.
my feeling is that when it's done, we're going to be very, very satisfied.
Well, the one thing that has me most optimistic is my pessimism about him, in that the swath from right around now, tomorrow, into the 23rd. So we're looking at, a good close to 2 weeks is Mars going through a place he just doesn't like. I know this about this guy, and you remember I said in prior talks that that might have been the sentencing, but now there's no sentencing.
Right.
And with Trump, I mean, the thing about Trump is you probably have heard that he's become more unhinged in the last week or so. He's saying some really crazy things about rounding up immigrants, how it's going to be bloody, really
How
stuff
could
that's
he
way
think
out there.
what makes the other side go for him?
Yeah, but and my point being, though, that what else can this guy say that would correlate with the insanity that he's reaching for? What makes the most sense to me is that he's raging about something that he's not happy about, right? And even
Right.
if it turned out that the debate, people said, well, it was closer to a draw than someone really being superior to the other, something about it rubs him the wrong way or something, because this period we're moving into is no good at all, and he's gonna continue with his aggression because that's what Mars
Yeah.
does. Mars is a combative, fighting planet. He wears it on his sleeve, and so that's kind of to be expected, right? And then the thing is, in the near thing, like if you look at up really close, I agree with you on Kamala being very grounded because she has a couple of placements that are very much like that for communicating, for saying what you mean, and getting it across. But you also see in there that he is going to be a bit lax, which is normal for him, overconfident. Like he's got
Yeah.
smooth enough energy to just say things. And hers is set up to either get confronted and then punch back or starting the confronting. But the energy of confrontation is definitely there with her. It's
Yeah,
totally
I
there.
feel her really and can I tell you, he's gonna leave out of there bragging that he won, which he always does. But he didn't, because I see people listen to her.
Well, that's where one of the things that always happens, though, if you remember from prior debates, is that you get instant polls that they do, and it's pretty hard to say you win if the poll says otherwise, and so it's unlikely that would be the case.
But I even see the moderators telling him to calm down or telling him, sir, that's not true.
Really? Well,
I
that would
saw
be
that, so I could be wrong. but-
that would be different than what CNN did, because CNN was totally,
Oh, CNN didn't do it, but that's why they're gonna do it, because they saw CNN got a what for.
yeah, that would make
And
sense.
they'll have some of the facts there, but even this, they're eating your kitty cats and your ducks.
Yeah,
And
that's the latest. Yeah,
Colorado, where is it at in Colorado? Where is it, where the Haitians are going?
I think it might be Ohio. It's somewhere in there.
Oh,
Yeah.
Anyway, the farm workers all made a statement saying, this is absolutely not true, and these are some of the hardest working people. They bring your vegetables and everything to the table. We hire them in groups because they do so good.
Yeah, no, and see, the thing is that the problem with the era we're in is that these guys can do stuff that's for their base, and Trump is notorious for this. He doesn't play to the middle. He just keeps throwing red meat at his base. And then he doesn't want that brought up in the debate. This is why, though, if the debate people were fair, I don't know if they'll do this, but I'm hoping they will. That'd be my first question, to say, we just heard you say this. You just said something about immigrants being rounded up and that it's going to be bloody. Can you please explain that? Because,
Yeah.
but he doesn't want to, he wants to pretend that none of that is happening so that he can keep it on his terms. So it's always the art of bringing it into the foreground. And I can't imagine Kamala in 90 minutes isn't going to get something in there. I bet you anything she's going to use that phrase, old and tired, because that's a way of saying your message is old and tired, plus you are old and tired, which he hates, because he's always thinking I'm high energy, and he thinks he's, like a young man, he wants to say I'm like someone in their 30s. But now he's taken over Joe Biden's, vulnerability around age.
The old man now.
Yeah, exactly. So
I know she won't do this, but if it was me, I swear to you, no matter how smart I am and how I could risk losing the presidency, I would say, what's that smell?
yeah, no, I think that would be going a little bit too far.
Tiny change.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. So I mean, the moon is in Sagittarius today, and at the time of the debate, it really puts her in ultra vigilant mode. Like, and I know that that particular angle, when I've experienced it in my chart numerous times, especially to Pluto. I found it funny that you're wearing, we started talking, you were wearing that Pluto t-shirt, and
Yeah.
this thing is very Plutonian. So Pluto is confrontation. It's pretty dark energy. Like another thing that is almost certain to come up is she's going to hit him with the, you're a sexual, women, all
Yeah,
that.
I
It's going
saw
to come
her
up.
get a couple of good punches in there.
It's going to come up, yeah, because it's highly unlikely given the topic, where the moon is. But in actual fact, this is a great test for her because this to me will tell me almost with solid certainty if she navigates through this and gets at least a tie and probably some kind of win, there's no way to stop her, because this to me reminds me of Obama went through this in his period in 08. He had a really rough moment when people even thought he might quit. He was so confronted by Jeremiah, that pastor that had said those things. He, took on the challenge, made it through, and it just became an impossible to stop juggernaut after that, right? So
Right. And
it's
I don't think, this woman has more experience than Obama did.
oh, of course, yeah. No, sure.
She knows how to stand in court and ad lib. And let me tell you something, I saw a couple of good jabs at him.
Oh no, for sure, for sure. I mean that's the big difference. That if she manages to use the energy, the tense energy to get under his skin, he's a very jagged, scattered communicator. But remember, this guy is almost certain to coke up or take a lot of Adderall because what he's doing, sometimes you might wonder, well, why doesn't he do this all the time? He probably knows that if he does too much, he risks something really bad happening. So that's why at times he looks like he's lost in space. But I don't think he's going to show up in a sundown thing. That's what he did for Biden. I mean, that debate, he looked all sped up. When he's doing that speed, that's because the system is on some kind of amphetamine or coke or some kind of thing like that. So very unlikely he'll show up low energy. He's going to be all pumped, to
Yeah, and the other thing is he doesn't like a woman, especially a black woman.
Oh, for sure.
Him or stepping on him, and he will turn into a crazy person.
For sure. But I think that's a huge mistake because Kamala is not someone you want to do that to. Her past performances, too, in all situations, she asserts herself, including that she was really assertive toward Biden. And that speaks to Biden's whatever. Maybe he has a natural affinity with her, but he chose her to be the VP, and she had confronted him pretty hard on the stage. I don't know if you remember in 2019, but I guess he saw something, or maybe, I don't know, whatever the reason is. But that's something that Trump would never do. If a woman confronts Trump, it's never going to happen. That.
Oh, you're talking about Pence, how he reacted?
No, I'm talking about that when in 2019 in the primary debates, Kamala attacked Biden. Don't you remember that? But there was
Oh, that's right. She did real good about the bus thing.
Yeah, and he was kind of, he even apparently challenged her like on the side and said, "Hey, come on, what are you doing?" But that didn't stop him from choosing her. So that speaks.
She could, yeah, he knows. Yeah. She knows her stuff. But who Trump is getting to do work for them is that Russian bot from Hawaii. The Russian bot from Hawaii, that female with the one streak of blonde.
And
she's working on him being able to do.
Oh, you mean like in the debate prep?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
The gal from Hawaii that has that silver strip, who said she's no longer going to be a Democrat. I never thought she was. I always thought she was a Russian bot.
Oh, you mean Tulsi Gabbard?
Yeah.
Yeah, she's like a Russian asset, that woman, I swear.
Yeah.
But
listen, can I read you something I just got?
Sure.
News. I won't reveal his name. Just to let you know, there are several fuel tanker aircraft over Poland tonight, which indicated increased aerial activity from NATO air forces. 2 USAF Hercules aircraft have taken off from a town airport with a grass airport near where I live on Flight Trader 24. It looks like Polish eastern border may be being reinforced with what is going on in Ukraine and what is going on with Putin. Expect the news will come out in the next day or so, as it looks like matters are coming to a head. I told you, I felt like Putin was getting ready to go down. Now, Ukraine is bombing Russia as we speak. Not necessarily civilian, but I guess they're whatever that flies hit a building, a tower. And you see all these people rushing in to get in the bomb shelters. And those bomb shelters were built with secondhand concrete. And they're so bad that if a bomb actually hit them, they said the whole thing would collapse. That's what these poor people are running into. You know, now they're getting hit at home where they live. You can't tell me. It's just like what I saw. It's going to be Putin's people taking them out.
Yeah, no, Putin. I mean, the only thing with Putin is that it's in a way the same as Netanyahu. You know, their Libra air sign. They're getting the Jupiter assistance, and so I think in a big way, as far as things really moving, I don't think we'll necessarily see the big turn until next year. But anything you see that is taking him down a notch, you know, is really helpful because they're just taking it that way.
I know you're better because you got the signs, but I'm feeling they're done and dusted, both of them, before the end of before Kamala becomes president.
Really? Wow. Well, okay. Well, no, I'll buy that. I'll take it anytime. I mean, the one thing that's fascinating there is that conjunction that happens every 36 years, which my namesake, that French guy that did all that work, he had tied it to Russia, and we're right at that point again in 25 and 26. And I don't see how Russia, with the economy of less than Italy, has anything to do with a big change other than to adjust to tough times. You know that it doesn't look to me like
we don't know who will take his place. Maybe it's somebody as bad as him temporarily. We don't know.
Possibly, yeah. Although Russia would do well if they were smart, they would align with the West because they're not really natural friends with China anyway. They really aren't. They have a lot of antipathy toward.
China doesn't trust anybody.
Well, no, right. And so for Russia, it'd be so much easier to align with the West, and create a, reasonable democratic system instead of this weird oligarchic money to the top, keeping everybody in check. It's so much more work, to do that all the time, to be tracking people and lying to them all the time. And so it would be good for them, but I don't know what they'll do. I just know they're in a change point. So, yeah, absolutely.
And so Kamala's chart looks really good.
Yeah, no, Kamala's chart, like the whole point to all this is that it's way more tricky to get this specific event leading up to the big event. This was the thing with Biden's debate as well. It took a while for us to realize, oh, well, maybe that wasn't so bad after all, because he set it up perfectly, right? But no, I mean, the thing to keep in mind is where we're going here. That's the election night. There's no way. I mean, I'm totally willing to die on that hill. That chart that Trump is carrying, no way. And it's just,
you've been saying this, and again, I'll remind the audience that you even said, geez, Biden's got to win, not necessarily because of his chart, but because Kamala's chart's so good. Why would she
exactly.
be so good?
Exactly, yeah. And when she wins, he'll look like he's brilliant. People will go, wow, look at this guy. I mean, what more can you do than set this thing up, save the country. I mean, that's one of the things, by the way, that's going to come up, I guarantee you, in the debate. He's going to say, you wrecked the economy and you wrecked the border, right? Well, the border has an answer. No, I didn't wreck the border. You did because you didn't sign on to a plan, which bipartisan plan. And as far as the economy, I hope she says, why don't you stop lying to people? You want to tell us like your presidency ended in 2019. It didn't end in 2019. It ended in 2020. What do you remember about that? You screwed up COVID totally, and you handed us a ruined economy with no jobs, no nothing, and we brought them all back. So quit telling people about your genius. You're horrible. You're a lousy president. Period.
Oh, and he says this nation is going in pot because of them. This nation,
No, and by the way, like he's trying to be a futurist. He had to set up a channel and start doing future predictions, right? He said he said back then, the stock market's going to crash. Really? Is it going to crash? That's what he was saying. Okay, I mean, why would anybody believe anything he says, right? But see, the thing is that this is a condensed moment. By the way, last time it was 70 million people watching, right? I bet you anything is going to be even bigger this time, right? And I mean, it's her opportunity, and 90 minutes is really condensed, to get these messages out in a way that the electorate really hears it. And I heard one person saying, this is probably true, the key is that she has to look like she's in charge. She has to look that
I
way.
really feel I don't think he's
Yeah,
gonna be able to upset her at all. I
no,
know
no.
Biden can't stand him and really wasn't fearful of him, but Biden couldn't get the words out.
Yeah, he couldn't get the words out. That's really all it is. It's that simple. I mean, it's super important, to be
And
on
she
cue.
knows, being that she works in courts, the way you treat somebody like him is you don't put up with their nonsense. You gotta move forward straight in this person's face, because these bullies will keep bullying. If he thinks he's got a little bit, Hillary was really good at just ignoring him.
Yeah, she was. She was. I mean, Hillary was just the victim of so many things that happened. The worst one really was that everyone expected her to win, so many people didn't vote. That's really all it was. That's really all it was, because when you look at those numbers in those three Midwestern states, she should have won that. He won it by with Jill Stein's votes. I mean, it was a super close. That's the thing too. This guy's won one thing in all this time. Everything else he either lost or caused other people to lose. But everyone is always thinking, "Oh my God, Trump has magical powers. He's gonna." No, the man is a loser. He fluky. In fact, I remember back then. You probably thought the same thing when he won. I thought, I think you've just set up your own disaster by doing this, because now being president, it's going to go to your head. You're going to make things worse, and whatever was going to happen to you is going to be amplified tenfold, right?
And also the best healthcare system ever.
Oh.
I'm going to do, and he didn't come through with anything.
No, he didn't come through with anything. No, but that's the thing is, though, that how do you get those messages out when a lot of people are watching? Because the way the world is now, either you're in your own corner, and Fox News is never going to show you the things that make them look bad, and everybody else watches the regular, or other people watch the regular channels, and many don't watch any channels. So if you don't show it to them at the time, you miss the opportunity, right? So this is why it's critical.
I think the common denominator is that he's so racist. There's so many racist people that love that. And he's very anti towards women, They like that "I'm better than you" stuff.
Yeah, no, and this is where I'm holding firm to your prediction. I hope you're right. I hope you feel it, that it's the correct thing, that she wins comfortably, because
I feel she will.
the one thing that has me a little bit nervous is that, because we're in the echo, there are a lot of echoes to the Civil War, right? And to the and so what happened then is that the whole Reconstruction thing happened because there was this election that was really close. And so then they had to cut deals, and they left a lot of that racism in place. And we're still living with it today, and that would be sad if that were to happen. But I could also see.
But the dynamics of the United States is so different now. We've got all kinds of nations. We've got people that are awake and wise. We've had women who just finally got the ability to vote that they didn't have before. In those days, women couldn't vote.
Oh, no, totally
Slaves
true.
couldn't vote. Well, now everybody gets to vote, and
Well,
it's a horse of a different color.
Totally true. And by the way, that's another topic, because that's the aspect today fits for her really, really well, really plowing into this thing about, the "how dare you" thing. Like, who do you guys think you are? You come in here, you white old men, and you decide you're going to tell, millions of women what to do with their body. That's really what it is. And you're telling people you're proud of this? I'm sorry, man. That is completely out of bounds. And people are not going to stand for it. Women aren't. And many men who support those women. That's the bottom line. She's got to say that.
The people that are losing right now. We even got that justice in Wisconsin, and they were trying to not let her take her to be in she's the new justice, and because of her, she was able to kind of stop this abortion thing. But you see what's happening even in Wisconsin. This abortion, this is the sleeping giant. This is when I heard about what they did with Roe versus Wade. My son said there's a lot of problems with Roe versus Wade. There was things with it that weren't that great. So I just think we're going to have a new beginning. We're going to upgrade what we have. And I think, because they overdid it. They're letting women die, getting septic. Nah, forget about letting little girls carry their daddy's babies. That's bull.
It's a powerful message.
And men don't want it either. There's a lot of men that don't want to have children. That maybe you guys already have 3 kids. What?
Yeah, no, and what
you don't get the choice.
And what man wants to be around an unhappy woman? That's not a cool. I mean, come on, how does that work?
Hello, if
Yeah.
they haven't learned from me, they sure haven't learned.
No, I mean, no, seriously, it's more basic than that. I mean, they're seriously in 2024, whether it's Alito especially, Alito is the king of this kind of thinking, but there's just this attitude. Listen to JD. JD thinks that women should be in the kitchen. Women shouldn't be, go and have children and, this kind of thing. It's almost like treating women as they're less than, they're not as important a citizen as men. And another one that does this is Elon Musk. Have you heard his latest? How did he put it? He said that the world should be run by something like high status males or qualified males. Like, he actually says this with a straight face. I mean, now he's in the political world. I think if you're doing politics, be political. That's not a statement you should ever make when you're not taking away their vote anytime soon. So they vote and they will vote you down.
He said he'll be very happy to be in the administration. Trump's already promised him he'll be in the administration. And I saw one of his texts. I'll be very happy to serve in the administration.
Oh, sure.
He's hoping that Trump will win, but he's not going to.
No. And if you look at his business acumen, it's not turning out to be anywhere near as good as people used to think, because Tesla now is hurting, and he's completely, he's brought Twitter, way down. It's worth half of what it used to be because of his crazy antics, So,
yeah. Well, yeah. He's what is he, Asperger's? He's got something wrong. And also, all that space stuff too. We have government contracts with him. We need to get him out. We need to send him back to where he came from.
Yeah, plus I didn't know, I don't know if you knew this, there was an article today in the New York Times. Don Lemon, remember, he was fired from CNN because he made a comment about Nikki Haley. He said something he shouldn't have said. But he was working with X for a while, and then Elon threw him out when they were doing an interview, and I didn't know this, and Lemon asked him about his ketamine use. And I thought, oh, Elon uses ketamine. These people are weird, I'm telling you. This is weird bleep, the whole lot of them. I mean, ketamine is supposed to be used in clinical settings, and very rarely, if you're using ketamine.
That's what killed that guy from Friends. Ketamine.
Well, Matthew Perry too. Matthew Perry was.
That's what I mean, Matthew Perry.
Yeah, it's like almost like a horse tranquilizer. It's really, really strong stuff. So you start to wonder, he's doing that, how is that affecting his, because I'm wondering what's happened to this guy. He used to be an Obama supporter, and now he's completely out there on the right wing, full on with, backing people that deny the Holocaust, to him, fascist messages, basically
he might end up
lies.
being dead in a pool.
He might be which?
Ketamine user. He might be found dead in a pool.
Well, you're risking it. You're asking for trouble. Yeah. This is when you're using.
John Lemon got kicked off for asking him that.
It was that, and there was another topic. There were two things. One of them was ketamine, and the other one was some other thing. I think he was asking him about all the fascist messages. So those two things, and apparently Musk was getting more and more uncomfortable, and then right after that, he ended the collaboration. That was it. And, he didn't want to work with Lemon anymore. So, there you have it.
How come
right?
we don't have Lemon on something like in a MSNBC instead of Katie Tur?
Well, he might find his way there. It's a better home for him. Certainly, he's not going to go to Fox, or anything like that.
Now, what about Johnson? You got a little look-see on Johnson? Because I'm hearing the chatter in the social media is that most people, Trump and him decided on telling everybody, we'll vote for a budget if they do this and this, something to do with voting and making sure IDs have to be shown, doing all kinds of unconstitutional stuff. And the people in Congress are saying, listen, we can't afford to do something or shut the government down. We need to be our people to vote for us. If you do that, we're already barely making it.
Yeah, I doubt.
Senate already said, no way, we're not gonna.
I didn't check his chart recently, but just understanding the politics, very unlikely because, yeah, exactly. It would rebound to the way the Republicans can be really bad at governing. So I'm almost
Yes.
certain that basically he's probably going to tell those people that want to vote, the hard MAGA,
Yeah.
either you vote or I'll have to vote with the Democrats, but we're not doing this. So probably along those lines. That's what I think
Well,
will happen.
I saw that perhaps our speaker in Congress would have a chance to even become speaker before we actually change when Kamala wins. And now just listen to this. Let's say Marjorie Taylor Greene gets mad at Johnson for saying, okay, we'll do a budget yet again. And he's not following Trump's rules. And she votes to get him out. This time the Democrats would turn around and say, okay, we want Jeffries in.
Yeah, well, that would be an even better outcome. Yeah, for sure.
Last time they supported Johnson.
Yeah, I mean, Johnson, in the end, remember that you had said this, the first time you were doing his cards or early on, you said, he looks to me like someone that is more moderate and goes to the middle. Well, he ended up going there because
Yeah, you were shocked. You kept telling me. I can't believe what you said was right.
yeah, no, it's true. Because in the end, remember, he went against Trump's wishes and that he funded Ukraine
Yeah.
and, and a number of other things. So he's clever enough to do that. And right now, though, that would be a really bad move for the GOP. If they did that, that would be all
Shut
these.
down the government right before. And
Oh, no.
the
Yeah.
good news is that the people in there know that too.
Yeah, exactly. So that's highly unlikely to happen.
Yeah.
Very, very unlikely. So I wouldn't worry about, Johnson stopping the government or anything else. Very
Yeah.
unlikely. Yeah. So,
Well, this was fun.
all right. Yeah. So let's see what happens, and we'll do the post debate tomorrow. And in the meantime, everyone, the one thing I'll tell you is the polls. Well, many people just ignore the polls because the polls can just be trends and so on. But realize that the fact that the race is close, I think, is an advantage because Democrats always do well when they vote. And the one thing that can cause people not to vote
Like
is if you
Hillary.
are seeing, she's just running away with it, the whole thing is a disaster, which is what should be happening. I mean, I'm aware of that many people ask, how is it possible that this imbecile, this clown, is holding, America hostage still at this time? Fine, but you're guaranteeing, that people will be very, very serious about showing up and voting. And so that's the key. And I think the other thing is that as long as she's close, like tied or a little ahead, then you'll see building from there. Like, in other words, a tie goes to her, as I see it, not to him. A tie doesn't mean they switch to Trump, they switch to her,
Yeah, like, wow, okay. You got a convict, a rapist, and all this god awful. He was president for 4 years. He did nothing for us. But yet we still need to know more about Kamala. Really?
I know. Like I saw this headline with this is the opportunity for Kamala to sway the undecided voter, and I thought, undecided voter, what are you undecided about? You're either hiding under a rock, or you really don't have a reasonably good understanding of people, because all you have to do is listen to Trump for 5 minutes, and you think, this guy is he could be mentally ill, he could be corrupt, he could be insane, he could be both. I mean, he could be all of these things because it's really, really bad. It's gotten worse too, as I'm sure you've seen.
Yeah. Okay, my friend.
All right.
I'll talk to you tomorrow.
We will resume tomorrow. Bye, everyone.
Bye, everyone.